Good morning on this Valentine's Day Ash Wednesday. It's the biggest day of the year for roses. We traced a bouquet from Manhattan's flower district back to the source, and it turns out that behind the collective show of love is a feat of logistics. It began last summer, at a flower farm around 9,000 feet above sea level, in the mountains of Ecuador, when a rose bush began to show buds, said Stephen Fatos, who runs Starbright Floral Design, a small shop in the flower district. About 6 months later, those buds were poised to bloom, and the farm opened an online auction in which florists across the world, including Starbright Floral Design, which Mr. Fatos runs with his father, could bid on the blossoms. The roses were then cut, setting the countdown clock ticking on their 19-day lifespan. They traveled by truck along winding mountain roads to Quito, were packed onto a cargo plane and flown to Miami, inspected by Customs and United States Department of Agriculture officials, and flown that same day at LaGuardia Airport. Starbright's drivers were waiting there with a refrigerated truck and chauffeured them into Manhattan, where they joined some 40,000 flowers from around South America that the shop had ordered for Valentine's Day. They included 24 colors, 12 shades of red alone. The roses were all a little tired looking from the journey, the florists said, so workers spent the next few days nursing them back to health, hydrating, cleaning, and preening them, before arranging them into $100 dozens to be delivered to New Yorkers. Perhaps to you. Now, they have about a week before they wilt. 7 days is the typical post-sale life expectancy of a rose. Most flowers, you're just enjoying the beauty of its death, Mr. Fatos told us. Still, they've made it this far. Here's what else is happening: mild and lovely, with a high of 50. But grab an umbrella. It may rain later this evening. In the first State of the City speech of his final term, Mayor Bill de Blasio pledged that by the time he leaves office, New York would be the fairest city in the country. New York Times: a federal lawsuit is challenging the Trump administration by arguing that marijuana should be legal under federal law. New York Times: Bob Hugin, a former pharmaceutical executive, announced he was running for the Republican nomination in New Jersey for the Senate seat held by Robert Menendez. New York Times: Ahmed Khan Rahimi, the man responsible for building and planting the bomb that exploded in Manhattan in 2016, was sentenced to 2 life terms. New York Times: for the second time in 2 months, a federal judge issued an injunction that ordered the Trump administration to keep the DACA program in place. New York Times: as Dream Yard Preparatory, a once failing high school, makes significant improvements, school officials want to ensure that they sustain its progress. New York Times: a police sergeant who fatally shot a mentally ill woman took the stand, telling the court that he tried to prevent her from picking up a pair of scissors. New York Times: despite a large housing stock, there is still a low vacancy rate throughout the 5 boroughs, a new report from New York City Housing Preservation and Development shows. Metro New York: inside one of Bushwick's only remaining tortilla factories. Bushwick Daily: for the second year in a row, Jersey City has been named the most diverse city in the country, the financial services website WalletHub has found. NJ.com: today's Metropolitan Diary, hands full for a global look at what's happening. See your morning briefing. New York Roadrunners hosts a singles jog and mixer at the Run Center in Midtown. 6:30 p.m. Free see Alan Cumming perform in Many Fathoms Deep, a Valentine's Day show of song, spoken word, and cabaret, at the Metropolitan Museum of Art on the Upper East Side. 7 p.m. Tickets start at $75. Celebrate love with laughs at Looking for Love in All the Love Places or Be Mine, improvisers and their real-life Valentines, at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theatre in Hell's Kitchen. 8 and 9:30 p.m. $9. Or at a Valentine's Day stand-up comedy showcase at QED in Astoria, Queens. 9 p.m. $10. Looking ahead, on Thursday morning, Exerskate, a fitness class for experienced skaters, on the rink at Bryant Park in Midtown. 8 a.m. Free Nets host Pacers, 7:30 p.m. Yes. Knicks host Wizards, 7:30 p.m. Message. Alternate side parking is suspended for more events. See the New York Times's Arts and Entertainment Guide. The overlap of Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday may cause a quandary for some. Still, many observant Catholics in the city will be wearing ash crosses on their brows. Have you ever wondered where the ash came from? We put that question to the Archdiocese of New York, which oversees St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan and nearly 300 other congregations around the city. The ashes are derived from the remaining palms from the previous year's Palm Sunday service, said Mercedes Lopez Blanco, a spokeswoman for the Archdiocese. The fronds of the palms are burned, a process that takes place off-site, sometimes as far away as Florida, where they are incinerated in an open fire, collected and shipped back to the city. Before today's ceremony at St. Patrick's, the sacristan, or church preparer, prepared 25 plates of ash. The ashes were to be blessed by the priest at 7 o'clock this morning, just before Massachusetts. About 50,000 New Yorkers receive ashes from the cathedral on Fifth Avenue each year, Ms. Lopez Blanco told us, and the Archdiocese is expecting a similar turnout today. The message that comes with the cross: remember, man, that thou art dust, and into dust thou shalt return. New York Today is a morning roundup that is published weekdays at 6 a.m. If you don't get it in your inbox already, you can sign up to receive it by email here. For updates throughout the day, like us on Facebook. What would you like to see here to start your day? Post a comment, email us at newyorktoday@newyorktimes.com, or reach us via Twitter using number NYToday. Follow the New York Today columnists Alexandra Levine and Jonathan Wolfe on Twitter. You can find the latest New York Today at newyorktoday.com.